Welcome to the audio experience of KimberlySueIverson.com, a redhead rewriting reality and multi-genre author. I am your host, Kimberly Sue Iverson, and today I'll be sharing with you a story that's close to my heart. If you prefer to read along or explore more stories, visit my website at KimberlySueIverson.com. This audio experience is for an adult audience. Themes and topics may not be appropriate or suitable for all audiences, so listener and viewer discretion is advised. Now, get yourself comfy as we dive into today's tale. Writing Bug. I was talking to a friend on the Pirates of the Caribbean Tides of War mobile game that I played the other night and told him that he had great timing because he'd asked me about books I was working on, and I had just about written a post that night around that. Writing and my books and stories. I feel that familiar prickle inside of me, beginning to pull and tug at me. Writers know exactly what I'm referring to. The one where you take so long enough off or away that the itch begins. Those stories begin to poke at you, tug at you, pull at you. The mind begins to act up because it wants to play. I have been doing my blogs as a way to consistently write, but also trying to get my mind back into the habit, back into creation, back into the written word in some way that it can, which I have found a struggle for logical reasons. My mom getting worse last year, so I wouldn't have even 30 minutes to myself. Then she passed. Then brother and I struggled, still are technically, just to ensure we figured so much out at once and brought in funds for keeping lights on and food. Then I had to focus on Chewbacca because he needed more and more help from me. Lately, though, I have found myself beginning to really feel that tickle and prickle inside of me for playtime. Playing in my worlds, in fiction, in more. There's nothing more fulfilling for me than to enter one of my spaces to play, or to create more. The ideas are still flowing. That isn't the issue. It's never been an issue for me. Although getting ideas and being inspired to pursue those same ideas is another thing entirely. Because the thing about getting creative ideas is that they're just ideas. It's the same as having the idea that we want to do a particular project around the house. Well, we think at first about how wonderful the idea is. We think about how much we want to do it and how perfect it may be in the end. Then we have to actually put in the time and effort to coming up with a plan on how to do it, gathering everything we need. What happens at that point? It's lost all enjoyment. It's lost that initial spark and joy we wanted to pursue it for. There's something that changes once we face the work we must put in. It's not that all the things we do are like that, more so for writing, but when struggling to really focus and get the mind into that space, it can be hard. It can be hard because you're tired. It can be hard because in the end, the idea is kind of boring. It's not the genre necessarily that you want to pursue. I think many people also will trash ideas like that because it may not feel like something worth pursuing. But I've found that over time, not all of those ideas remain boring and not worth pursuing. There are plenty of ideas that I've had where I don't enjoy them at first to the point of pursuing them. I do love them enough that I write them down and feel as if there is something there, but just Well, then when I feel like writing something, I will take all those ideas and begin to peruse them and find something worth working on. What it means is that I will read through all the ideas I have in my idea notebook and try to find something that sparks a whisper in me that I've mentioned long ago. It is a small voice inside that whispers, "This one." When I get that little voice whispering within, I just know I will be able to pursue this one. I will be able to long-term this idea. That is what we need as writers. Not just the idea to be like, yes, I like this, but the idea we can stick with. As I discuss this, I feel like this is part of what it is for me. Under my exhaustion, under my stress and worries, my brain doesn't want to cling to a story. It knows the stories aren't what are bringing in money like other things I do. So brain says, no, not that. Focus elsewhere. And it's causing a lot of problems on focus for me. Coffee is a huge help. So many who are against coffee don't realize that some of us benefit from it. My mind focuses on it and wakes up. So does my body. When I run out, everything slows down and I struggle to focus or move. It's not from any sort of addiction. I've gone without coffee for months, I believe, before as a test. My mind is better with a dose of caffeine, but only coffee can do it. Not tea. I don't drink soda. Water doesn't. I drink water in the morning too. Our brains and our bodies are in fact wired differently. So how certain things affect me are not how they affect you, and vice versa. I'm still surprised when I hear people act as if their way is the way. Their way is the only way. This way of mine may not work for you, but my joints don't do well without coffee and without heat. Without those two things, I struggle. Unless I wanted to be on medication, and it may come to that one day if this free and easy stuff doesn't continue to help, but my fatigue is a deep soul kind. Not just I need good sleep and I'll be fine. I get worn down from reading a book for an hour. I can get wiped from walking up and down the stairs too much. So I take a lot of breaks. This isn't a casual reason why I rely on caffeine in coffee or struggle. I'm working with it and finding better ways of handling it, but it's prevalent right now and does affect work I do. Any work I do. So I think that's where a lot of the writing problems come into play as well. Focus. Brain is not in focus mode. It's in freak out, I must do something this instant to make money, not spend time on things that don't make me money, Even though I am capable of writing a book in 3 months with just 1 hour of writing Monday through Friday, it's not as if I need hours upon hours of work time. Editing is another story. I do need hours every day to edit. Still, I do feel that tugging inside of me. One can almost call it a desperation to write, a boredom from not writing, a need to write. How I know I do have an addiction to writing. It's an itch I need scratched. The part I struggle with more right now, though, is sitting down to do it. For a long time, I always had people awed over my ability to write so much every Monday through Friday for 1 hour and my dedication. I did say, too, when I get going, I can become like a freight train. Oh, but see me now. This isn't a put down. This isn't that I need encouragement. I don't need words. I don't need comfort. I'm merely saying here is the reality of a writer who writes for a living and long term. I don't know one single person who doesn't hit this point. Many might call it writer's block. I don't. This isn't a block. This isn't a problem with me writing. To me, writer's block is truly a block. You cannot write for reasons beyond you. Anxiety may come up. Something may happen if you try. What I'm dealing with isn't a block. It's just a boredom of my mind and a struggle to do the actions that are required. The focus, the dedication, the motivation. This is not a block. Others may want to label it, and I can't stop another from labeling it as they please. But in many respects, I don't believe in writer's block. There is a reason I am not writing. I am aware of these reasons. When you pursue anything long term, this sort of stagnation sets in. That's actually a better way to say it. I have writer's stagnation, writer's hibernation. Think of any long-term project or relationship you have. Hasn't it grown a bit boring or stagnant at times? Exactly. It's merely a growth period. I will keep writing. I will get back to it. I feel a tad more excitement in me now thinking about it. Also, what my editor and I have noticed, when I do this, it's as if I go into a hibernation and realignment. So what comes next out of me is better writing than before. Every time I've gone into a hibernation time, it's as if I'm a caterpillar who goes into the cocoon and emerges as a butterfly, or a snake molting. Anything that goes in less and comes out more or better. Maybe it's something my particular mind needs. I went into that period after I was done writing my Dark Moon Dynasty Universe world. I can't remember how long I'd went in between writing, but it had been a while. I needed a break from writing and from such an intense space in my mind. I'd been so focused on it and having to keep track of so many paths, so many storylines, that I needed some emptiness. Then when I came back, I can't remember what it was that I worked on next, but even my editor had pointed out she noticed how different I wrote. as if my brain needed to hibernate. My words now, not hers from before. An improvement happened in that time. It was a huge help for me. So maybe this is just a natural progression for me. Maybe my brain naturally needs this, and it's not necessarily a product of the stress and lack of sleep, but a very natural process my brain needs. A part of my process. Who knows? If you're a writer, you may relate. This isn't to say that if you've gone without writing for a life and can't seem to connect to that, it's the same thing. Remember that I said above, I write Monday through Friday for 1 hour every day. So when I do get into the groove of writing, I am dedicated. This isn't going to relate if you've been puttering away all your life or for 10, 20 years and you just happen not to be able to write daily. I say that because I have had some relate themselves to me when they've never written a novel or even a short. They try to fit in with me by relating to how I process and work. Yes, you can relate to parts of the process, but to be blunt, that does not make you a published author who has been doing this steadily for over 10 years. 12, I believe now. I consistently write, edit, publish my work. I am not a writer who sits down for 10 years working on an outline and typing a paragraph over and over, telling people I'm a writer, when I only wish I could be. Yes, I'm being blunt. Yes, when I address those kind of things, I can be blunt. It'd be like a babysitter telling parents that they relate to the struggles of raising children. Those are in a ballpark of each other, but those are completely different things. A commitment to doing it all day, every day, and putting in that work is not the same as a casual individual who only pokes around at it with no care in the world about a long-term investment, or in my case, a long-term financial independence that I hope to gain from it. I have seen a growing group of people who try to tell others they are valid for calling themselves a writer and don't know that the people they are addressing might not be actually writing anything. That one can cross the line when I say that. But in this case, if you write, yes, you're a writer. However, I'm not doing this as a hobby. I have struggled to make money for many reasons. Some my fault, some beyond my hands. But my goal isn't to write a small note on a paper and shove it in a drawer for nobody to see. My goal is to work hard at becoming better and making money from my work. I am publishing my work. I am not a hobbyist giving it all away with no care in the world. Even when Draft 2 Digital has their sales, I wouldn't allow any of my work to go free, but currently the system can only do an across-the-board sale. So if my 99-cent stories are up, they go for free. I have no say in it. That's not me giving away everything for free. I can't avoid that unless I don't enroll my work. And I do so people can grab the novels at a discount here and there, but new readers will check me out during the sale. My goal is to achieve financial independence through my work. I also need your help in telling people about my work. I can only do so much to market without funds for ads. Many don't think ads work. Some do. I would do them if I had the money for them. It's worth a shot. So if you want to help me with work and helping get the word out, I would be grateful for it. I can only reach so many. Pass the word around. Telling people about my work and saying, check this out, you may like it if you like blank. That was how I found all the work I found growing up too. Giving away books I read, but also being given books. I was always reading. Again, something that could be contributing. But I do feel that prickle to write, and I think that is a very good thing. When I can get my bum in the chair to sit and write is another thing. Consistently, too. I'm open about this so others understand that as a writer who does it for a living, and someone who people have always been impressed by, you can see now, I too have times where I struggle. I am not always consistently writing, and I do take breaks. Forced in this case, since I just haven't been able to get myself to write consistently. But still, I am just as human as you are. I do struggle with writing. I never need words of encouragement for this sort of confession. It's just me stating this is a fact of writing that I deal with. This is how it works for me. So if you relate to it, understand that it's perfectly okay and a very normal process for some, if not many, of us. More to come. Thank you for reading and subscribing, or listening in this case. I know how valuable your time is, so it means so much that you are here. And I'm beyond grateful you chose to spend this time with me. What are your thoughts? Engage with me and start a conversation. Just don't be rude about it. If you'd like a chance for your story to be read and featured, get in touch at stories2read@KimberlySueIverson.com. A new episode and blog is dropped every Wednesday on KimberlySueIverson.com or on YouTube under Kimber Bites. That's KimberBites, Kimber Bites. And don't forget to check out my Ream subscription page. Another chapter is up. I'm releasing Guardians of the Void chapter by chapter over on Ream right now. I will be releasing my Priestess World as well soon, long before the public gets the books. You'll be able to read the chapters as I write them and help with the world. You'll get to read extra scenes that may not make the cut either. This is still being thought out on how I will, so they haven't been posted yet, but stay tuned. Also, that world is still in progress, but I have written almost 3 books. I'm nearing the end of the 3rd one. That's the one that when you follow me on social media, if you see the updates, that's the one it's about. If I actually do some writing and get all excited, that's typically the world I'm writing in. So check out reamstories.com/KimberlySueIverson. That's reamstories.com/KimberlySueIverson. reamstories.com/KimberlySueIverson. That link also will be in the description box below, unless I completely forget to add it, at which point you can remind me.